The Education Lab experience, it's such a real life experience. I always called it a classroom of one. You're doing all the things that you do in a classroom with one child.
The Ed Lab was the vision of the faculty. We had all come to the education program from a wide range of experiences, and we knew what we didn't want and we knew what we did want.
Our original vision was to both help our students see themselves as teachers, but also to provide a service to the community where children, those with special needs and normally developing children, could come to a place that was a learning environment.
We wanted to have a practical experience that college students could learn to teach being guided by staff. And that staff were experienced educators who had a passion for thinking about taking theory to practice. We also wanted a lab where children were not in a clinic or weren't being tutored, but they were just part of a learning place. We wanted it to be very hands-on so students could learn to read and do math from practical situations. The vision has stayed and grown and developed under great leadership over all of these 30 years.
One of the neat things about the Education Lab is that they come in and that they put on their teacher hats for the first time. They work with the parents from the very first moment. So they're doing lesson plans, they are working with colleagues to choose different materials to work with children. They work with us as instructors to make sure that they are prepared for their sessions. They reflect after their sessions and write about what happened and what could happen better so that they can make the next sessions better. And then of course they can use all of the materials in the Education Lab, all of the books, all of the technology, all of the people who are here to be able to make the best lessons that they can and give those kids the very best that they can give.
This is the first time that they've really had the responsibility to make decisions about what a child learns and plan for that and then follow through and see if what they did worked. They're a student, that's for sure, because they're still enrolled in courses, but they're also a teacher. They're a teacher in the eyes of the child that they work with and in the eyes of the parents, and in our eyes too. They're more like a colleague. One way that the Ed Lab has never changed is in its purpose, and that is specifically to allow our students a chance to try and be a teacher.
I've had everything from kindergarten to high schooler, and they really help prepare us for anything that's going to come our way and give us ideas and manipulatives and games. They're helping us create a giant toolbox for when we are on our own.
It's just preparing me to be the best teacher I could possibly be.
At the beginning, they come in as students, and then through that transformation, they become teachers by the time that they finish with their Ed Lab experiences.
The best thing that I've done is probably cooking in the kitchen. You have to use measuring cups, which are fractions, and you have to know what fractions are in order to cook.
My favorite thing is when my tutor lets me write letters.
I would change nothing.
Why?
Because I like the Ed Lab the way it is.
There's a reason this lab is named Betty Stike Educational Lab. Betty was just a remarkable educator.
Mother was a born teacher. She had a long career in the public schools. It gave her a unique perspective when she came to UNCW. I was asked by Hatha and Andy Hayes if I would be interested in helping with the endowment for the lab. They thought that she was the best person to exemplify what the lab was about. She was a real champion of the lab.
They have done an extraordinary job of understanding the vision, being true to it, and growing it in new and different directions.
It's an important opportunity for the college to do what it does best, which is create learning environments to prepare educators who are going to be successful in those learning environments to interface with the community and with public education and K-12 education in a broader way. It's really sort of the core and the signature of who we are as a college, and you can see that play out within the work we do in the lab.
I have never seen another lab that equals it, and I know it's right in its concept. I know it's even better in its implementation, and we have just great hope for the future.